Good morning, everybody. My name is Barry Schwartz, and this is the Search Buzz video recap. Today is Friday, May 21st, and this is the search news we covered over at the Search Engine Roundtable at SEOroundtable.com over the past week. Lot to discuss. Not feeling 100%. Been a long week, but I am good. So I apologize if the energy is a little bit low. But if you do like this video and you subscribe and you comment below and you do all those wonderful YouTube-y things, the video will get better as you listen. Just letting you know. That's how it works. Any event, things we got to discuss is there was 2 unconfirmed Google algorithm updates. Google announced their new version of BERT or RankBrain called MUM, Multitask Unified Model. Get into that a little bit later. The page experience update is coming not just to mobile, but also to desktop results. And there's a ton of Google I/O news plus a lot more, so stay tuned. Of course, I'd like to thank our sponsor, Loud Interactive, sponsored by the company Loud Interactive, which is a Chicago-based SEO firm led by BERT. Thank you so much for sponsoring, and please check them out. All right, first up, we had 2 unconfirmed Google algorithm updates. One was May 19th, 20th, and even some rumblings today. So the 21st. There's definitely a lot of charts and tracking tools that are all showing the different changes and ranking fluctuations. It is pretty hot in terms of the temperature and volatility of those rankings, fluctuations, and so forth. And the chatter is pretty much off the charts. It's not like a Penguin update or a Panda update like we saw in the past, or even a Core update, but it is significant. Google has not confirmed it. Again, that was May 19th, 20th, and maybe even today, 21st, Friday. Also, it continues where we have updates over the weekends. We had an update, I believe, on Saturday, maybe going into Sunday. I reported about it on Sunday of last week. I was offline again as a reminder Monday and Tuesday, so I scheduled a bunch of posts, but I did post a Sunday story to discuss that. Again, lots of chatter, lots of tools showing significant updates. Just so you know, it does seem like we reported on updates all of the weekends in this month, May, as well as 2 updates in the middle of the week. So again, Google has not confirmed it. In fact, Google told us last week that sometimes we report stuff and they have no idea what we're talking about. Again, they did not confirm these updates, but if you were hit on those dates, either over the weekends, last week, Saturday and Sunday, or later in the week, May 19th and 20th, or maybe 21st, you are definitely not alone. Google I/O was this week, and Google announced a ton of stuff. I mean, just too much to cover, to be honest. And one of those things was called Multitask Unified Model, which being abbreviated as MUM. It's basically 1,000 times better or powerful than BERT. Google launched BERT a couple of years ago, which makes Google better at understanding languages and queries. This is basically a new technology Google is exploring, it said, internally to better understand language and make it easier to get helpful responses to complex search queries. One of the examples it gave was around doing a search for I've hiked Mount items and now I want to hike Mount Fuji. What types of shoes should I wear? Something like that. And it's a very complicated query. And what should I do to prepare differently? Like, it's comparing 2 mountains and what you should do differently to maybe you should wear these shoes versus those shoes, or maybe you should wear these shirts and have whatever it might be. I'm not a hiker, as you can tell by the way I look. Not that hikers can't look like me. I just don't exercise much, which I probably should. In any event, it's a much more complex system, just trying to answer much more complex issues around search. It's not live yet, and people are saying, oh, maybe these updates are related to MUM and so forth. No, it's not. Google said it's not going to be live or added to search until months or years later. Danny Sullivan, I asked him, he said he will let us know. Google will let us know when MUM is released into search. For now, hang tight. It's not live. So anything you're seeing is not MUM related. And Danny said, I won't be mum about the MUM update. Google Page Experience Update, which is launching in mid-June, so less than a month or so from now, was initially supposed to just launch for mobile pages only, and that's still the case. Google's going to launch this. It's only going to look at mobile-specific pages for its ranking factor, but Google announced at I/O that it will also launch at some point in the future, not in mid-June, but sometime in the future for desktop pages as well, because they want you to have a good page experience on desktop, not just on mobile. So keep that in mind. Whatever your work you're doing for page experience, Core Web Vitals on the mobile pages, you should also be doing to your desktop pages. If you have a responsive site, it should be a little bit easier, but we will see. I've been downplaying this page experience update for a while. Google's been downplaying it as well. It's not going to be a drastic update, but it seems like most SEOs, 61% of SEOs or 60% of SEOs, have said that they have worked on improving core web vitals. To be honest, I made a few changes to my corporate site because of the jumpiness of it on certain mobile browsers. So I changed that and improved my core web vitals for that metric, and things are looking good there, but only because it was a user issue. I didn't really care about the rankings, so I don't think it's going to be a ranking factor or a massive ranking factor that's going to affect much of anything, to be honest. In any event, most SEOs, 60% plus, have worked on core web vitals. It makes sense because it's an easy thing to add to the audit. It's something they can it's actionable. They can work on it. And it's something Google's telling people to do. But again, it's not going to be a huge ranking factor, so stay calm. Google said at Google I/O, and there's a lot of confusion. They said there's confusion around this, where some people suspect that you need to meet all three requirements of Core Web Vitals, LCP, CLS, FID, all have to be in the good score to get the ranking boost. That's not true. Each one's on its own. They're not like you have to meet all three good factors to get a ranking boost. They're not like that. It doesn't work like that. You just have to do good on some of them to get some type of ranking boost. Google also launched at Google I/O really cool stuff around videos, specifically around the key moments. So we have YouTube videos and you timestamp them. Google will show a thing called key moments where it actually shows you ways to skip ahead to different parts of the video. Now, Google announced new markup, which you saw coming, which you kind of saw coming a month or so ago, called clip markup, which basically lets you host your own videos on your own website and say, these are the timestamps of the videos that you want Google to use key moments for. Also, Google announced something called Seek Markup, which is coming up soon, which is more of an AI-based method for Google to figure it out on their own, which is pretty cool. So definitely take a look at that if you do a lot of video stuff. It's definitely a way to make your videos stand out much more in Google search. Google said, as of at I/O at least, it now crawls over 50% of the URLs that it's crawling are done over HTTP2 crawling, which is much more efficient and so forth. Google announced this, I believe, last September, November, that they started crawling the web over HTTP2, and that was just a small sample of URLs. In less than 6 months, they're now crawling half of what they crawl across the web over HTTP2, which makes it more efficient for you, makes it more efficient for Google, and so forth, which actually could potentially, if you have a massive site, improve your crawl budget without you doing anything. You don't have to do anything. As long as your server supports HTTP2, you're good to go. Google Maps said they're going to go ahead and tailor the search results or the actual results of the map screen when you're looking on your desktop or your mobile phone of what's there. They're going to show you maybe restaurants at night, maybe, I don't know, barbershops in the day. I don't know. Basically, they're going to show you personalized results based on who you are and what time of the day it is. So maybe movie theaters at night, but I don't know, work offices during the day. Stuff like that is going to change. And I guess time of day of Sundays versus weekdays and so forth, which is going to be a much more custom tailored Google Maps experience, which is pretty cool. And that we'll see how that shuffles things around for local SEOs. Google's also testing the video results with the key moments on the right side. I'm not sure if this is a bug or it's a feature. Pretty cool to see it's being pushed on the right-hand side. I could not replicate this. Also at Google I/O, it announced a bunch of shopping and commerce-related changes. First, it talked about their shopping graph, which they've been using for a while. It's just a fancy name for how they come up with understanding their real-time data sets around product, inventory, and their merchants, using dynamic AI models that understand product information, inventory data that they receive from brands and retailers directly, and how they actually attribute and relate those to one another. So they're calling their shopping graph, which is pretty cute. Also, Shopify, which is a very big e-commerce platform, announced a partnership with Google to kind of make a one-click, very easy way to feed your product data to Google search. I think Shopify stock jumped on that news, which makes sense. Also, Google Lens is now integrated into Google Photos. If you Google Photos and you want to see what your friend's pants were and how to buy them, you can use Google Lens to zoom into a certain thing and say, where can I find more information about that? And also, Google released a retailer loyalty programming link feature, which you might be interested in. So definitely take a look at those shopping features that was announced at I/O. Google's testing vertical shopping ads on mobile. Usually they're a carousel where you see shopping ads and you can scroll through the products. They're actually testing a vertical version of that, which doesn't seem normal. Doesn't look so good. Google Ads has launched a bunch of new smart bidding features. So you definitely want to take a look at that. If you use smart bidding, they have a ton of new features around smart bidding and how that works, including reporting and so forth. So take a look at that. I posted about that today on Friday. I want to kind of finish this video sooner. And also Google announced a bunch of campaign app features. around different tools for integrating apps into your search, into the Google search ads. One thing example is that if you're searching on your desktop on Chrome and you are searching for an app, you can actually click on the ad for the app. It will then launch Google Play on the desktop and let you actually push that app to your mobile Android device remotely over your Chrome browser, which is pretty cool. It doesn't work with obviously iOS yet. They asked a bunch of new analytics features for tracking those app-based campaign ads, and also some new tools like deep linking tools and other tools around how to validate your deep links and so forth. So definitely take a look at that as well. In any event, thank you so much for listening to the Search Buzz video recap. Hope everybody's doing well. I do feel a little better. Thanks for liking the video. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for commenting below. Appreciate it. And of course, thanks to Loud Interactive, the Chicago-based SEO firm led by BERT for sponsoring. Everyone have a great weekend. Again, today is Friday, May 21st. That was the search news we covered over at the Search Engine Roundtable at seroundtable.com over the past week. My name again is Barry Schwartz. Be safe, be happy. See you guys next week. Bye-bye.